It shows that Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis still has a spark, and they still have chemistry like they never left 22 years. What is up, guys and Disney fans? Welcome back to my channel. This is OCD Movie Reviews. My name is On The Brinkat, and today I'm going to review the latest Legacy sequel that came out. Yes, we are getting another Legacy sequel. We're getting so many of those in this decade, and that film is Freakier Friday. This movie is directed by Nisha. Hopefully I said her name right. This movie is the Legacy sequel, of course, to the classic remake Freaky Friday, and this movie starts the return of Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis with Chad Michael Murray, Sophia Hammons, Julia Butter, and Manny Jacinto. 22 years after Tess and Anna endured an identity crisis, Anna now has a daughter and soon-to-be stepdaughter. As they navigate the challenges that come when two families merge, Tess and Anna discover that lightning might strike twice. So, we have another Legacy sequel that came out right now. Holy crap, we are getting so many Legacy sequels coming out right now. This time, it's for the 2003's Disney remake of Freaky Friday. Now, I wouldn't say Freaky Friday is like my biggest nostalgic movie. I remember liking that film as a kid. And I remember watching this movie recently before this film, and I'm like, you know what? This movie actually holds up very well. Yes, the 2000 aspects do not hold up, but as a film with a very cohesive story that has some great comedy and great heart, it's definitely a film that still holds up, and it's thanks to Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis. I thought they have an excellent chemistry in the original film. There's so many highlights of that film, and I still think it's still hilarious and heartwarming still to this day. So when I heard they're doing a Legacy sequel to Freaky Friday, of course I was skeptical, because when it comes to comedy in Legacy sequels, it's not the easiest thing to do. You know, relive the humor that we love from the original film and bring it back now in this decade. It's really good to see Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan coming back to this film, especially Lindsay Lohan coming back to acting again. But I was nervous what this movie's going to happen until the trailers came out, and I'm not going to lie, I was impressed with the trailers and I was actually looking forward to this movie. It just looks fun, and that's what I was expecting within this Legacy sequel. I just want this movie to be a fun Legacy sequel. And this film was actually meant to come out on Disney+, but of course now it came out in theaters. So I went into this movie with an open mind, hoping this movie is at least a fun movie. Not as good as the original, which I was expecting, but just a fun movie. And seeing Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis back together on the big screen. And I'm gonna say, guys, to me, Freakier Friday is just fine, in my personal opinion. I think it's a safe and entertaining Legacy sequel that's definitely watchable from start to finish, but I wish it could have been just a little bit better. Of course, I would say my biggest positive when it comes to this movie is absolutely Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis. It is good to see them back together on the big screen once again since the first movie. It's like they never left these characters. They are still fantastic in this movie together. Their chemistry is still fantastic in the film. And of course, they look like they had so much fun playing these roles once again. Of course, this movie is about four people switching bodies. Of course, the daughters are now the adults, and the adults are the daughters in the film. So Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis playing both the daughters in the film switched is great. They are fantastic in the film, and they look like they had so much fun playing those roles once again. And every single scene with Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis in this film is when I find this film very watchable. Every moment with them two is fantastic. Also, I'm gonna give props to Julia Butters and Sophia Hammons as well, playing the daughter and the stepdaughter, basically switched to Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis in the film. I thought them two are great in this film also, especially in my opinion, Julia Butters playing Lindsay Lohan's daughter. I thought she does an excellent job in this film. She definitely presents a lot of heart to the film, and I thought she does a really good job in the film. And Sophia Hammons also does a really good job in the film as this kind of bratty, soon-to-be stepdaughter that doesn't want anything to do with his family, but also learning lessons throughout when she is in Jamie Lee Curtis's body. But I would say all four of them look like they had a total blast making this movie, and I gotta appreciate them for that, and I thought the chemistry between the four of them is really good in this film. Do I still find this film hilarious? Yes, this film still has some really good humorous moments. There is one humorous moment where, I'm not gonna lie, I was killing myself laughing. I'm not gonna lie. The comedy is definitely still there, but definitely the biggest thing that is still in this movie is the heart. I would say the third act of this movie is actually really good, especially when it comes to the emotional aspects and the heart to the film. The heart still hasn't left from the first movie. It's definitely still there. There is a lot of emotional aspects to Freakier Friday, which I was really surprised that the film went to that direction that it did. I swear, from the acting standpoint, from one moment in the film, I was almost in tears. The emotional moments is definitely still there in the film. The heart is definitely in its place. And of course, the nostalgic elements of the film is great. You know, there's a lot of great hits and Easter eggs from the first Freaky Friday, you know, with Chad Michael Murray returning as an Easter egg. He is great. Seeing the pink slip back on screen once again is great. The soundtrack, I will also say, is really good in the film. And of course, the film presents Take Me Away again, and oh my god, hearing that song again on the big screen, it's just great. Definitely the nostalgic elements is great in the film, and it didn't feel forced, you know, it's in for the story, not like what Happy Gilmore 2 did. But I gotta say, guys, my biggest issue surrounding Freakier Friday is absolutely the story of the film. Since we have 4 people switching bodies in the film, definitely the film feels very jumbled and very convoluted. There's a lot of story elements happening in this film, which does make this film very, very messy. I would say the first 2 acts of the film, especially the second act, I was feeling a little bit jumbled. I'm thinking, okay, the film does rush itself a bit, and also it does have a lot of jumbling elements and have so many storylines that, you know, it didn't feel smooth. Especially when you see them actually switching bodies and getting the reveal of who is who. The film really rushes itself. Like, at times I even forgot who is who in the film. You know, the first Freaky Friday movie, you can tell who is who because the film takes its time knowing who is who. This movie does it a little bit too quickly to the point where, like, okay, we know that it's a sequel to Freaky Friday, so we know kind of how it works, but I wish the film could have took its time to get us, okay, Lindsay Lohan is the daughter, or Sophia Hammons is Jamie Lee Curtis. You know, the film could have at least smoothed itself a bit, but this movie also just has so many storylines, a lot of things happening in this film because of just 4 people switching bodies. But even just the story overall and the lessons that it provided, it's something we've seen before, you know? It's nothing mind-blowing, it's nothing too original, it's just a film that plays a bit too safe. Like I said, the heartwarming moments is definitely there, and the emotional moments are there in the film, but the overall story, it is very predictable. We know exactly what is going to happen. You can really tell while watching this film, I'm thinking, okay, I can see why this film was first going to stream on Disney Plus, because it definitely has that Disney Plus treatment where you're like, okay, the story isn't mind-blowing, it isn't spectacular, still entertaining and still watchable, but nothing like, oh, okay, this needs to be in theaters. I would say if you're huge Freaky Friday fans, definitely check out this film. Definitely check out this film. But I'm just going to be very biased here. I felt like this movie could have been a little bit better if it did stream on Disney Plus, because it definitely felt like a Disney Plus movie, because the movie just doesn't bring you anything new. It's literally the exact same movie, but just with bigger aspects and more convoluted aspects. So overall, guys, Freakier Friday is just a fine legacy sequel. I thought the film is still watchable, it's still entertaining, the nostalgic elements are definitely there, and the heart is definitely there. Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis, they are the biggest reasons you should check out this movie. Their chemistry is still great, and it's great to see them back together on the big screen. The teenage daughters on the film are also very good in the film. The nostalgic elements are great in the film. This film does have some funny moments, but a lot of great heart as well. But the biggest problem that I have with Freaky Friday is definitely the plot. It's very convoluted, it's very jumbled. The film tries to go really big, but it has a plot where you're like, okay, it is a bit predictable. We've seen it many times before. There's nothing too original, nothing too spectacular within the movie. It's definitely a movie that I feel like, yeah, if it did stream on Disney Plus, I feel like this film is where it belongs there. But I still find the film entertaining. I still find the film very watchable, especially with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. But this film, you know, it's just, you know, a legacy sequel, you know, a comedy legacy sequel that's trying to be very nostalgic while also kind of repeating the exact same story, and, you know, I just find the film just okay. I'm gonna say for Freakier Friday, I'm gonna give this movie a meh rating.
I mean, it's alright, like...
But I'm not gonna lie, I am not gonna get Take Me Away out of my head. I'm not gonna lie. So guys, that is my review for Freakier Friday. Let me know what you think of this film in the comments below. Do you like the film, hate the film, or you thought it's okay? Just let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below. Keep contact with me, and make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, notify for my latest movie reviews and other movie related content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a nice day.